Welcome, and thank you for joining us as we move along the path of discipleship. We endeavor to better serve humanity in our many varied group settings, and it's vital that we develop a common understanding of the nature of sound, the word, silence, and the Om. With teachings from the Tibetan master and a meditation on silence and resonance recorded by a member of the World Servers Network in the daily Vigil offered by the 2025 initiative.
What is the sound? The mass of aspirants and of disciples are today learning the meaning of the Om, which is not the word made flesh, but the word released from form and expressing itself as soul spirit, and not as body soul spirit. The sound of the Om and the sound itself are all related to vibration and to its differing and varied effects. The secret of the law of vibration is progressively revealed as people learn to sound forth the word in its three aspects. Students would also do well to ponder on the distinction between the breath and the sound, between the process of breathing and of creating directed vibratory activity. One is related to time and the other to space, and they are distinct from each other, and, as the old commentary puts it, quote, the sound, the final and yet initiating sound, concerns that which is neither time nor space. It lies outside the manifested all, the source of all that is, and yet is not, end quote. The chord of the ego. From the Tibetan master, quote, when I use the term reciprocal vibration, what do I mean? I mean the adaptation of the personality or lower self to the ego or higher self, the dominating of the personality ray by the ray of the ego, and the combining of their tones. I mean the blending of the primary color of the higher self with the secondary hue of the lower self until beauty is achieved. At first there is dissonance and discord, a clashing of the colors, and a fight between the higher and the lower. But as time progresses, and later with the aid of the master, harmony of color and tone is produced. Parentheses, a synonymous matter, end parentheses, until eventually you will have the basic note of matter, the major third of the aligned personality, the dominant fifth of the ego, followed by the full chord of the monad or the spirit. It is the dominant we seek at adeptship, the fourth initiation, and earlier the perfected third of the personality. During our various incarnations, we strike and ring the changes on all the intervening notes, and sometimes our lives are major and sometimes minor, but always they tend to flexibility and greater beauty. In due time, each note fits into its chord, the chord of the spirit. Each chord forms part of a phrase, the phrase or group to which the chord belongs. And the phrase goes to the completion of 1/7 of the whole. The entire 7 sections, then, complete the sonata of this solar system, a part of the threefold masterpiece of the Logos, or God, the master musician.
What is the sound? The creative point of tension, a tension achieved by a planetary logos when he responds to the sound of the ineffable name and breathes it forth in his turn in three great sounds which made one sound on his own plane of expression, thus creating the manifested world, the impulse towards the unfoldment of consciousness, and the influence of life itself. This is the sound. The OM, rightly sounded, releases the soul from the realm of glamour and of enchantment. It is the sound of liberation, the great note of resurrection, and of the raising of humanity to the secret place of the Most High, when all other words and sounds have failed.
Dimly the one who seeks hears the faint whisper of the life of God. He sees the breathing of that whisper, which disturbs the waters of his spatial life. The whisper penetrates. It then becomes the sound of many waters and the word of many voices. Great is the confusion, but still the listening must go on. Listening is the seed of obedience, O Chila on the path. Having pervaded the entire universe with a fragment of myself, I remain.
The word postulates or facts to remember. 1. That all that exists is based on the word. 2. That differentiation is the result of sound. 3. That on each plane the word has a different effect. 4. That according to the note of the word or the vibration of the sound will the work of building in or casting out be accomplished. 5. That the one threefold word has 7 keys, and these 7 keys have their own subtones. In the apprehension of these basic facts lies hid much light on the use of the word in meditation. In the great original sounding forth of the sacred word, the 3 original breaths, with their 7 sounds, one breath for each of the 3 solar systems, the note was different, and the sounds pitched to a different key. The word. 7 great words, again based on the sacred 3 sounds A, U, M, or Ah, Woo, These produced creation, or the manifestation of the 7 planes of our solar system. They are committed not to human entities, but to the 7 great devas or Raja lords, who are the ensouling lives of a plane. Hence, in the various initiations, their collaboration is necessary before these keywords can be committed to the initiate.
The dual effect of the sacred word, constructive and destructive. Master DK gives us just a few broad hints. He says only these will be possible to form a basis for the intelligent application of the law. First, let us repeat the truism that the worlds are the effect of sound. First life, then matter. Later, the attraction of the matter to the life for purposes of its manifestation and expression, and the orderly arrangement of that matter into the necessary forms. Sound formed the allying factor, the propelling impulse, and the attractive medium. Sound, in an occult and deeply metaphysical sense, stands for that which we term the relation between, and is the creating intermediary, the linking third factor in the process of manifestation. It is the Akasha. On the higher planes, it is the agent of the great entity who wields the cosmic law of gravitation in its relation to our solar system. Whilst on the lower planes, it demonstrates as the astral light, the great agent of reflection that fixes and perpetuates on its vibratory bosom the past, the present, and the future, or that which we call time. In direct relation to the lower vehicle, it manifests as electricity, prana, and the magnetic fluid. A simplification of the idea may come to you perhaps in the recognition of sound as the agent of the law of attraction and repulsion. The blue ray of devotion, a sub-ray of the second ray of love wisdom of our solar system, and then of the third ray of our planetary logos, and on down to the point of focus in this transitional point of our civilization. This blue ray of devotion passes now into the violet of what we term the ceremonial ray. What do these words mean? Simply that the great musician of the universe is moving the keys, is sounding another note, and thus bringing in another turn of the wheel, and swinging into the arc of manifestation the ray of violet, the great note G. These rays bring with them in every kingdom in nature all that is attuned to them. Human beings, devas of order high or low, elementals of a desirable or undesirable nature, flowers, fruits, and vegetable life of a certain kind, and animals and forms of varying species. It is the passing out of a ray that signals the ultimate extinction of some particular form, some type of animal life, and leads to some vegetable aspect coming to an end. Hence the confusion among the scientists at this time. The process of coming in is slow, as is all work in nature, and as is the process of passing out. Simultaneously with the cyclic birth and emergence of a new ray is the slow return to its source of the prevailing ray, present at the advent of the new.
What results, therefore, when the word is correctly sounded by a group of people rightly intermingled? It attracts the attention of certain of the devas or angels, whose work lies with the bodies of men, and enables them to do that work with greater exactitude, and make contacts that later will be of use.
Sound, the devas and humanity. Sounding the sacred word. Students would do well to remember that its sounding forth vocally upon the physical plane means little. The important factors are to sound it silently, inaudibly, and within the head. Then, having done so, to hear it reverberate there, and to recognize that this self-initiated sound, breathed forth from a point of tension, is a part of the original sound as it takes form as a word. When a man perfectly expresses the Om, he can then sound the Om with effectiveness from progressive points of tension until the third initiation. Then the effect of the Om is such that the personality as a separate identity disappears. The soul emerges in all its glory, and the first faint sound of the original sound breaks upon the ear of the transfigured initiate.
Sounding in silence opens the door to a deeper silence, necessary to listen to the divine music. Dear friends, silence and vibrations are essential to participate to the one life. Silence, what we call silence, is in fact full of vibrations. Silence. A big part of such vibrations is noise. And another, apparently little and subtle part, is beauty. Let's look for our inner silence. Let's forget the noisy vibrations and focus on the subtle and silent sounds. When singing, our attention is kept by words and meanings. When we silently sing a song, again, our attention is kept by words and meanings. When we sing an instrumental melody conceived without a linked text, our mind and brain are pushed to move and dance. Our attention, in this case, is grabbed by spatiotemporal dynamics. From a subtle point of view, these two musical experiences are kind of noise. The text and the spatiotemporal dynamics hide the deeper resonances. By contrast, when we practice a long and silent sound, we can find a sea of resonances. When we silently play a sound, we somehow disappear as personality and become able to resonate with anything we focus on. A silent sound is like a little stone thrown into a little lake. It produces little waves, but focusing on those little waves, we can feel the sound of the lake itself. Produce a silent sound in the head. When the sound will finish, it will give space to the silence. And in there, I become able to feel a sound from my head. I produce a silent sound in the head, and then, in silence, I will listen to the sound of my head. Produce a silent sound in the chest. When finished, stay still and listen to the silence. From the chest, a vibration will sound. Choose an object around the physical body, any object. Produce a silent sound in that specific object. And when finished, stay still and listen to the silence. From that object, a vibration will sound. We are standing still in circle. Produce a silent sound in the center of our circle. When finished, we will stay still and listen to the silence. From the center of our circle, a vibration will sound. Together, hugging in circle, we participate to the resonance running and singing through us. A calm and silently resonating circle. Together, let's resonate with the mantra of unification. The souls of all are one, and we are one with them. We seek to love, serve, hear, let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages began. Let love prevail. Let all people love. Each one of us is a sound composed by different harmonics. The better we align our bodies, the more beautiful is the sound. Let's focus on our own sound. Our circle is a chord composed by different sounds. The more we resonate together, the more we become able to resonate with the higher sacred sounds. Let's focus on our circle, on our resonant chalice. Our silent circle is open, listening to the higher singers. And resonating with them. We are singing with the sacred choir. Within our group, together with all other groups. Let's amplify the sound and distribute the sacred vibration on earth. And together, let's sing the great invocation.
We will sound the great invocation at the close of these additional readings. Consider the chord, the note of synthetic sound, the purpose, the note of attractive sound, soul consciousness, the note of nature, the intelligence aspect. Visualize the chord as a triangle. As the chord sounds, superimpose the triangle of purpose, consciousness, and intelligence. Listen for the chord.
Consider your relation to the elementals and the devas, with which we must cooperate to handle the tests. Desire to hear, desire to be heard, desire to sound the note of the soul. The relation of the pairs of opposites. These can be selfishly utilized or divinely blended. The positive and receptive qualities blended for higher service. The masculine and feminine qualities balanced and coordinated in service. The note of the soul harmonizing with the note of the personality in each and every expression. Life conditions selfishly appropriated or gathered together in group formation, in community with soul consciousness and pure intention. Sounding silence, creating new harmonies, vibrations of healing sound radiating into the darkness. Selfishly cornered, if I may use such a phrase, or blended and shared, inspired by a loving heart, offered as service to the ones we seek to love, heal, serve, and aid. How are these relations being utilized in creative expression?
Chanting sound. Working with chanting sound, voiced, not silent, together with patients, clients, friends, as well as with small groups, often in a certain way can elicit balance, centering, that moves the forces in that moment to a higher level and can promote inclusion, deeper presence in the one sound, and healing. Quote, we start chanting with the sound and frequency which just comes at that moment, with whatever we bring along, stress, emotions, whatever. Just chanting what comes out as first sound. Usually first, it is not a beautifully vibrating sound and disharmonic when two or more are chanting. Voices start to break. Dissonances, coming mostly from emotional and physical blockages, can be heard. It doesn't fit together yet at this point. The instruction is not to go consciously into singing mode or producing some kind of harmony willfully, difficult as this may be for those with musical background. Because by going on just chanting what is, the harmony will develop by itself. Some kind of healing takes place. The vibration breaks up blockages on many levels. There's always the natural, innate striving towards harmony when we take our own ideas away and give space to just listening while chanting. Harmony is the cause behind all creation, as I understand it. The fourth ray of harmony through conflict. The fourth ray of the human kingdom sounding forth. And after not too long, the voice finds its own vibrating frequency. In group, all voices will be in harmony with each other while no one is doing anything, even if it's not on the same frequency. And everyone comes to find and sound their own note. End quote. Quote. The silent sound is the same on a much finer level. All the sounds are developing into harmony. We don't have to do alignment. It happens by giving space to inner sound, vibration, and natural harmony to find itself as it is always there, underlying, and everything striving into it. End quote. Shared by an esoteric student, disciple, working in a professional capacity with capital V voice and voice. Mantrams are often used to sound a particular vibration, to awaken a particular deva of a higher order, transmuting the lower physical to the higher causal. The Om can be used to purify and transmute.
The Om is useless to most people, even though trained students may now be deriving benefit from its use. This general uselessness is caused not only because people do not use the word correctly, but also because even when using it, they are not holding its significance firmly in their consciousness. Man only hears the distant sound and knows it not for what it is. The disciple hears the sound and sees its form. The one who stands for the third time upon the mountaintop hears a clear note and knows it as his own, as ours, as yours, and yet the note which none have sounded forth. Rule 7 for applicants. Let the disciple turn his attention to the enunciating of those sounds which echo in the hall where walks the master. Let him not sound the lesser notes which awaken vibration within the halls of Maya.
For the highly advanced, those working with the causal body, sound can be used with these instructions that Master DK gives from the Rays and Initiations. Given we are not at that level, but just need to note that these will later be used by many who are working to use the causal body in its totality. And these are just for reference, ways that the advanced disciples drive evil back onto the astral plane. For those of us working along the path of discipleship, we're given these beautiful paragraphs. The Listening Pilgrim.
The Listening Pilgrim. Listen, O pilgrim, to the chanting of the word by the great Deva lords. Hush all earth vibration, still the restless strivings of lower mind, and with ear intent hark to the sounds that rise to the throne of the Logos. Only the pure in heart can hear, only the gentle can respond. The stormy sounds of all earth struggle, the shrill vibration of the watery sphere, the crashing note marking the place of thought, dims the sound and shuts out the tone. He who is silent, quiet, and calm within, who sees all by means of light divine, and is not led by light reflected within the threefold spheres, is he who will shortly hear. From out the environing ether will strike a note upon his ear, unlike the tones that sound within the world terrestrial. Listen, O pilgrim, for when that sound strikes in colorful vibration upon the inner sense, know that a point has been achieved, marking a great transition. Watch then, O pilgrim, for the coming of that hour. With purified endeavor, mount nearer to that sound. Know when its tone steals through the misty dawn, or in the mellow sunlight strikes soft upon the ear, that soon the inner hearing will become expanded feeling and will give place to sight and perfect comprehension. Know when the music of the spheres comes to you note by note, in misty dawn or sunny noon, at cool of eve, or sounding through the deep of night, that in their rhythmic tone lies secret revelation.
Великий заклик. З витоку світла, що в розумі Бога. Хай світло струмує в розуми людей, хай лине світло на землю. З витоку любові, що в серці Бога. Хай любов струмує в серця людей. Хай прийде Христос на землю. З центру, де воля Бога відома, хай мета веде маленькі волі людські, мета, яку знають і якій служать вчителі. З центру, що ми називаємо родом людським, хай план любові і світла здійснюється, і запечатані будуть двері, за якими перебуває зло. Хай світло, любов і могутність відновлюють план на землі.
From your perspective, from your language, the language that you know utters the sound of your nation. Sound in silence in that language into our circle, the great invocation. In these moments of silence, as we close our time together. In closing your sounding of the great invocation, remember to sound the ohms as DK instructs us. From that point of tension, at that highest point, in unity with the great sounds of the devas of all the planes, harmonizing with the Christ.